Hello, everybody. Welcome. This is Terrell from Terrell03.com. Today's Wednesday, it's June 24th, 2026. It's 3:42 p.m. Central Time here in the Ozarks. I'm running out of gas here. This is going to have to be a shorter than normal report. I want to give you more, but 3:42 means I'm going to be here probably till 8 o'clock. Let's see. The prepping situation is on hold until I'm feeling better. That's where this is the next thing to be done. All these solar panels are going to be, these two are going to be pushed out as far as they'll go. These are going to be pushed this way, and then panel, and these are going to go against it, and then a panel here. Give you four more panels are going to go up here, and then on the other side, I'm going to slam them all together, put the two on the end, all the way over, and then push all those together. I should get two panels over there, so we'll get more capacity. And then these trees, some of these trees here have to come down. Whenever I can, and maybe the fall before that gets done. But that's where we are right now. In sitting mode, question and answers. Gilbert, I think my air conditioner is killing me. That's a lesson that we had to learn here also. So if you have an AC system and you have vents and such, and you have any moisture for any period of time, and something could get in there, a fungus generally, it can be a bacteria, it could even be a virus, then your house can literally kill you. It can make you sick for sure. Whenever you run out of options of what you know something's not right, that's something that you're going to want to check. And it's funny. So now I've got a protocol, and our system, the system we have here now, we need to run the central heat and air for. We have to run the grid power, so we just have some kind of a power bill. If it's just $50 or something, you don't want to let it run to zero if you're offline. I mean, we have the solar panel system, like I said, but we didn't contact the power company. I mean, they know about it. The real friendly guy, when they changed the meter, they came out and we showed it to them, but not officially with the. And they told us it was a fella that came by to notify us about the new meter deal, and he thought it was a great idea because he saw interruptions coming. So he thought it was a smart idea for us to do that. But we need to run our system 3 or 4 days a month just so we have a bill. Then, because when you go to zero, they're going to just think you're stealing power. So likely the smart thing to do, in my opinion, is to graduate your payment down, down, down. You don't just let it any sudden jumps. So you let it come down, 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 and then keep it steady. Then you're not going to raise any red flags. And whenever we do that, we turn on the central system and we spray it first. So even whenever we're not using the system, we're using AC units now, wall units. Then I keep the vents closed, and I open up the vent and spray this. This is Odo Band. You can get it at Home Depot. This gallon jug costs just like $20 or something. And this is the concentrate. Generally, that's the way to go. Concentrate, you put just a tablespoon of this in 32 ounces of water in a spray bottle, and I spray it in each one. Open up the intake with a big old giant air filter in it. Spray it in there. Spray. Close it all up. Close everything up and let that just sit in there and eat. And add a little bit of Lysol to it. I think it's good to have the aerosol in there too. And make sure that you don't have anything growing in there. Then when you turn it on, because that's what happens when if you close off your system like we're doing, and there's something that's in there, then it's going to be multiplying, particularly if it's really wet out like it has been here. It's going to cause, it's going to be a little petri dish for everything to grow. Then you turn it on all of a sudden when you haven't turned it on for a month, and then you blow all that fungus or bacteria, whatever it is, throughout your house. You don't want to do that. So that's why we keep it sprayed. And then whenever we turned it on this morning, actually, then I put your finger up and smell the air and see if you sense anything. And we didn't sense anything at all. So I think that we're good to go. But a lot of people, when you transition from winter, spring, and then to summer, and you kick on that AC and it's been off all winter, and you get the moisture and you get if there's anything in there that's that's blossomed, then this is the time of the year that if you turn on your system and you blow it through the house. Because remember, yeah, you have your filter on, but the air that's in the system, in the ducts, it's not filtered. It just blows right out to your house and throughout your house. And then it catches on things. After that, you might start not feeling good, and you'll notice a film forming in the bathtub, in the toilet, especially in the top. You can, in where the little holes are, you'll see around there. If you can look down in your sink, if you don't have a stopper in there, you'll see a little lining that's starting to film. That's where you look. That's where you might hear some lightning in the back and thunder in the background. That's where I keep an eye on where you run the sink, and then around the little pipe on the inside. And when you see any type of a film or anything like that forming, that's a tell that you have something going, and it's likely the source is going to be in your AC duct system. So this Odoban, they have it, I think on. We just picked up a couple more bottles of this right here. For in a survival situation, this type of disinfectant is it's valuable, like cans of Lysol and things. But this is what my buddy David, he's the HVAC guy. This is what he recommended right here. There's different kinds of them. There's a citrus based, different kinds. Some of it's ready to use, some of it you dilute. So make sure that you read the instructions. So then, let's see, this is a comment that I made. You guys sent me a video, and on the Super El Nino, and I took the opportunity to pull up several of those and to make comments that there's something else that's happening that's causing the Super El Nino. These videos of what's going on in Antarctica, the heating that's going up in Antarctica from underneath, it's because the super plume is now pushed underneath there. And the horn formations are pushing up. But it just so happens, I'll show you in the report, that air mass now has pushed over Antarctica that is super cold. So you have underneath super hot and on top super cold simultaneously at the same time. Gas shortages are right around the corner. And from Brian, and he's given his, Chris is giving his scripture interpretations. A lot of the, Karen, you sent me a lot of those too. A lot of people believe we're at the end of the age. I've been writing about it and writing about it, writing about it. The day of the Lord is about to begin, even though more than 90% of the Bible prophecy experts are going to give you their commentary that we are at the end of the age. Matthew 24, Revelation, Joel 2, Zechariah, Jeremiah, and that happens in about 3,600 years. We are witnesses of how the day of the Lord is about to begin. So I share the gas shortage part. I share the link. I'll show you the video, but the scriptural part is from my perspective, and everybody's got a right to have their views, right? I'm just going to give you mine. Kidney stone protocol, from Bonnie. In the midst of chaos of a shattered millions pieces of my life, I left out the little personal part here. There is one thing that actually gives me real comfort, and this gives me comfort too. The daily use of nanosilver and boron combination. I have an indescribable sense of having tremendous power to defeat the enemy's potential effect. Horrifying personal intrusion. This is simple and affordable solution. I am so glad about this resource. I just want to thank you again. There are there's a few of you, I can't say there's many of you, there's a few of you out there on the regimen and you're having the benefits of it right now. And if you get a single order, you're getting almost $1,000 worth of nanocell. You're getting my books, you're getting an education. Hope that you'll take advantage of the opportunity. And now I'd like to ask you if the protocol that you mentioned in your kidney stones is available. And I suspect that it is also very simple. I'm possibly involving baking soda, but rather than guessing and doing hours of uncertain research. And I've already been 2 rounds of surgeries for this, and that's probably lithotripsy, and it depends on. Or I could talk to you guys for hours about. For those who don't know, I was president and CEO of Press Medical Corporation for 2 years. Had my own lab, had my own doctor, Dr. Shibley. We did tissue samples. We did jumped through all the hoops to get pressure sheet technology available to everybody, and I, that failed. That was in the mid 1990s, and through that process, though, then as I wrote right here, thank you for writing. Solving my kidney stone problems required pressurizing my entire urinary system. That is the answer that doctors don't want to hear. But it works. My entire urinary system was pressurized. All of my kidney stones, I held them in my hand, and along with forming stones, with gnarly looking fish hook type that came out of my kidney, the upper part of my kidney. You don't just pressurize it and they come. You don't just pressurize it and they come out. You pressurize your system, and you have internal pressure, external pressure, and you use wrap your body in a pressure belt, and it's a jacket. It's a if I ever got to develop all of my devices, then it's a pressure jacket. It has its pressure zones and such. You can pressurize and depressurize different areas inside the body and outside the body. CPEs, controlled pressurized environments, in the belt, in the jacket, inside your body. It is wonderful, wonderful. So my entire system, using a low-tech method, wasn't this high-tech method was never developed. Low-tech method includes Foley catheters, external thigh cuffs, a thigh cuff and a strap around the outside of the body, and arm cuffs. And Foley catheter has a dilator cuff on it that's inserted into right through the urethra, right into the bladder, and dilated so that you can create a CPE in the bladder. And so you pressurize the bladder, you pressurize from the outside, and you send a column of pressurized fluid up the ureters. I know that sounds crazy, doesn't it? And the ureter is the inside of the ureter is the size of a human hair until you pressurize it. And ureters run from your kidneys up just inside your rib cage down to the bladder. They're about a foot long. The right one's generally shorter than the left one, why the right side is generally more susceptible to kidney stones. Most people have kidney stones in their right side because of that. And it's because of dehydration. And there are 3 types. And dehydration is the most common reason for the formation of kidney stones. Once you begin developing them, you have different generations of stones. My body was making kidney stones every 10 months. It was horrible. But whenever my system was pressurized and removed, oh, this is a probe right here. That all probes should have dilator cuffs on them. In the future, all of these scopes, all of them have pressure cuffs, without exception. They all do. You have so many different capabilities whenever you create a CPE inside the body. That nobody, I mean, this was invented almost 20 years ago. My patent would be running out about right now if I got my patent. And this is coming to my mind more and more. Maybe I'm going to, it's something I can go to online and go patent pending again and start looking for a partner, somebody that has lots of money. It takes a lot of money to get something like this pushed through. Are you any millionaires out there? You want to make $1 billion? You want to get your name on something like this? Contact me. That I've got more experience with this as in the lab, in the research developing department, and working right with the doctors, and as a guinea pig, as a first person to ever have my kidney stones removed on this planet using CPEs. And now my body doesn't make kidney stones anymore. I'm not going to have another kidney stone attack as long as I keep my body hydrated. So there are low-tech methods to use my pressure sheet technology. There are low-tech methods to remove all your stones. So if your doctor is interested in knowing how to remove stones, generally your doctor is not interested in curing you of your body make kidney stones because you've gone to 2 surgeries, right? Yeah, that's what you just wrote. And you've had kidney stone attacks. You've been going to the doctor. They have you going through the revolving door. That's what they want. They don't want to cure you of kidney stones. It's sadly that is our system, the way that it works. There's a link that's right there. I'll show it to you. And there's more figures. I tried patenting it multiple times, and the realization dawned that, like other people that have great ideas with Tesla technologies and vapor plasma integrated engines is another of my inventions. It's a heat energy loops inside the engine. It's a combination of hydrocarbon and hydrogen. That's the way in the future that things are. A little bitty tank that carries gas, and you don't need, a gallon takes you a long way. And then that that heat energy loop is created, and then the heat is used to break the carbon chains, and then off you go with hydrogen and oxygen. Both of them are extremely flammable. You have to know what you're doing, or you blow things up. But once you break the chain, use the heat from there's no exhaust, there's no heat coming from the exhaust. It's all used up, and the only thing that comes out of the process is water. That you also have a water tank in there that you can recycle that water. So it's really cool. And but when you try to push something like this through today, then the medical lobbies, like the Israeli lobby, uh, their Council on Foreign Relations working groups, those people, they're just going to kill you. They're not going to have anything that's like that. So you need to know that. Oh, by the way, that lady that wanted to publish some of my articles and such, then I sent her that interview, and the uh, the the one that almost got Tina fired, Tina Griffin. And I said, if you, after looking at this, if you still want to publish my articles, I'm happy to work with you. I never heard from her again, which I knew that was going to be the case. Okay, did I make it through all? Yeah, I think I made it. Yeah. Okay. And let's see. Before we get into the report, the special is still going. Take advantage of it. 8 a.m. Central Time on Friday. This is your last chance to get Nano Silver this month. Your delivery should be, they should be getting them on Monday inside the United States. At the latest by Tuesday. You'll get your tracking numbers on Friday afternoon. And that's it for announcements and such. So I was going to pull up and show you the difference between week 12, 13, and 14. Okay, here you go. Excited to. I told you I was going to do it. If you can get me to tell you I'm going to do something, generally I kick myself if I don't. So here's the chart for week 12 that you saw 2 weeks ago, leading up to the alignment. This is the alignment. See the N? That corresponds to, especially for anybody that's new, there's a method. See these golden lines in here in this chart? This is the alignment. See that? You can't see it very well. When Ryan made this, 2017 made this, then the purple could have been over just a little bit like this, Ryan. That would have been perfect for both of them. Can't quite see it. But see that gold? That's week 13. This is week 1. This is week 39. Wait a minute. 26, 39, 13, 13, 13. Kind of like in the Bible, the number 13. That is extremely important. Okay, so this is the line that we cross right here. And this is the week before, and this is the week after. And you go back in time, you'll notice that this is April, because tracking the black star left in the orbit diagram, it's moving. When we came into alignment back in 2016, it was in April. Here, if you go back to 2014, the alignment was coming in late March, early April. So now it's in June, all the way through May and then June, because I'm tracking it going left. So week 1 starts sometime, it depends. See back here, whoops, see back here, then look at the difference in the number of days. April the 5th, we came into alignment. And the next cycle, it was the 25th. It was the 19th to the 25th. The black star was moving rapidly, 11, 12 degrees, almost 2 weeks. So the next cycle had to start that much later, each cycle. So as you're coming forward, that was the pattern. About 2017, then instead of moving 12 degrees, it started moving 6 degrees left in the orbit diagram. Then it started moving 3 degrees left in the orbit diagram. Now it's even a little bit less than that. It's slowing leftward movement. But the point that I'm trying to drive home here is the week before the alignment, we had just one 7 magnitude earthquake. And that was in 2019. And this week I'm reporting on now, afterwards, we only had 2. And that was back in 2014. The week before, see, in 2014, the week before, we had an 8 magnitude earthquake in 4. I mean, 2014 was big time. So something relatively new. The Earth crust wasn't expanding outward and contracting every 93 days. It's 93 days now. Back then it was add days. There's more like 100 days. It was expanding and contracting, expanding and contracting. That's made the Earth crust more flexible now. So as the process was starting and the black star was getting closer, Earth crust was much more rigid. That's why we're seeing 8 magnitude earthquakes at the alignments. And if we go back a little bit further, go back to Fukushima, 2011. Before that, 8.8 Chile. That's didn't start making the charts yet. So Earth crust was much more. But look at week 13, an 8 magnitude earthquake, and if you go back in time, then it's even got an 8.8, February 27th, 2010. Fukushima, 9.1 on the alignment. If you go back further, 2004, it was the day after Christmas. That was it 9.3 Indonesia quake? That would also be on the Black Star Sun center line. Whenever that happened, that's whenever the Earth was between the Sun and Gemini. It was still between Gemini. Now it's making its move leftward. So anyway, you can see big time activity here. The magnitudes were coming down as Earth was the environment inside the Earth was becoming more flexible with the crust and what's going on with the super plume. More flexible. But near side alignment quakes, I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, plus This quake right here is the Cuba quake. This here is the Philippines quake. Two near-side alignment quakes, both of them on the black star sun center line. That means as the Earth is spinning around, the epicenter of that quake struck whenever the epicenter, whenever that location on the Earth was in alignment with the sun and the black star. As the Earth's coming around 1,000 miles per hour, then it's like hitting a speed bump, but it's electromagnetic speed bump. And that went and look this one up right here. It was also on the black star sun center line. If I go look, probably a 5.9 here is also. If I go back and look, then there's going to be more of these quakes that are going to be on the black star sun center line. See, it's like electric bolt shocking through our planet. On the backside, and I'll be showing you those when we get it. It's going to be December. On the 11th, I'm going to be showing you this again around that time. Then this Philippine quake, 7.6, the lightning bolt struck through the planet and through the sun, caused a gigantic coronal hole in the sun and a hole in the earth in the Philippines. And recently, a story I'm going to show you, whenever this activity was happening in the Philippines, then more of that type of activity was striking. It's happening. It's just as the event's happening, you don't have access to that news. It comes in later, so that information is still coming in. But the pattern here that I want to show you is almost no sevens, almost no sevens. No sevens in the last decade have struck in week 14. The activity's happening right here as we're passing between the two stars. And it's not like it's happening every June for all this time. It's not. It's creeping from March, April, and then June as we're passing between the two stars. It's a definite pattern, different pattern. So if you're not tracking, if you don't realize that there's something in space that we are supposed to be tracking, you don't know how to change the weeks in the chart to track it. That's why these dates are different. So as this is going on, I'm tracking the beginning of the black star year that begins at that 90-degree angle position. And then counting the number of days. Now I know there's about 93 days, 92 and a decimal. Then I know when week 13 is. And that helped me to identify the day that this stuff was going to happen on this cycle, although I was off by one day. I thought it was going to be on the 9th, and it turned out to be on the 8th. So just one quake and 2 of the 6 magnitude earthquakes, 6 on the last cycle. 24 of the 5 magnitude earthquakes and 322. You know what? This doesn't look right. Oh, you know why? Because it's not right. See, it's week 12. I had to pull up these newsletters in order to give you. Well, let's see here. That's week 13. Here we go. Now I was discombobulated there for a second. Week 14 is this. This is the Black Star week 14 week, and there's just 2 back in 2014, following the 4 and the 1. Is why these values so high. It took the Earth a long time to regain its equilibrium because of the difference in the crust, the crustal environment. So it was 6 of the matched the high water mark from back here, even though we didn't have 2 sevens. So that's a big number outside the baseline. What we should be having with a 0, 6, 29 of the 5 magnitude earthquakes almost reached that 30 threshold, didn't quite, and then 402 of the 2.54 magnitude earthquakes, nowhere near the high water mark of 687 back in 2020. So this is the point where I show you where we are in the solar system. The Earth is moving through the first Earth change lull period for the 2026 Earth orbit cycle relative to the black star position between the Sun and the Scorpio constellation. So back in 2012, then see the Virgo For years, I was giving you reports saying, yeah, it's right there in Virgo. And before that, it was Leo. The investigation started 2011, and the black star was right here. Now it's coming around in a circular orbit since it's really slowed down anyway. It's in a long elliptical orbit, but then there's a switch that gets flipped, electromagnetic switch, and it has to do with the monopole bipole relationship. So the black star is locked in an orbit around the sun right now. It's moving slowly, and it's about Venus orbit path. It's going to come in and get locked in at reach perihelion at Venus orbit path, and then it's going to be ejected magnetically. Whenever that switch, that monopole dipole switch, all of a sudden, when that switch flips, this object is going to be the black star. It's going to be way too close to the sun, and it's going to be ejected magnetically, not gravitationally, and it's going to go on its way back towards the Gemini constellation. Okay, so Scorpio, it's right here. It's where the black star is located right now. It's in this section of space. Now we're moving away from it, and there are indications from what I'm seeing in the Earth changes already that we are moving away from the black star. The magnetic polar connection is getting longer. It's going to continue until we hit this 90 here. That's going to be the end of the first week, beginning the second week of September. So this is magnetic polar connection lengthening for 92 days. And the Earth changes should, there's going to be less, the Earth is going to absorb less electromagnetic energy. It doesn't mean that there can't be a large magnetic earthquake. The environment can be conducive to a large magnetic earthquake as the tectonic plates fall back, one under pressure builds. It is very possible for that to happen, but overall, the Earth change activity is going to decrease. Let me move this for you. Whoops. Let me move this for you. Didn't quite get this page set properly. So this is where we are in the solar system. That's where we're headed. And this is the line that we just crossed. Now we're moving this direction. We still have the potential for large magnetic earthquakes. You can see by the chart that we don't get 7 magnetic earthquakes generally. That was on the approach, and as we cross this line, then we're going to move away, and we should see a well-defined trough, a seismic lull period coming. Our seismic values decrease. We'll see, because at some point, black star is so close, everything's going to change. That's why I sit in this chair and look at all the data and say, hey, we're outside the baseline here or there. So this is the line we're going to reach in September, right around just before 9/11. And this is where we just were. And this is where this is where we're headed, right here to this 90-degree angle. See, we're going to move through a lull period now. Super plume in its infant state is now filled the entire Earth-Mare transition zone. That's why we're getting more news out of Antarctica. This is from 5 years ago, 6 years ago even. Now the entire Antarctica and the North Pole and everybody's is getting superheated from the inside, particularly the Pacific Ocean, where the horn formations, see these horn formations right here, they push higher and they can no longer move laterally. They're pushing higher and higher up into the rocky type magma. This right here is happening. These horn formations are pushing higher and higher and higher. That's why you're getting the super El Nino. The Pacific Ocean is going to get hotter than it has in recorded history. More and more geologists are going to be freaking out, going, oh my God, super El Nino. More and more videos about it. You're going to see more news about what's happening underneath Antarctica, even though it's super cold there at the moment, on the air temp on top. But you're going to see more evidence of volcanism and such, more and more land that is supposed to be covered by ice. You're going to see more and more pictures of that because the heat's coming from underneath. And there are a lot of people who are attributing what's happening to Antarctica to El Nino. Thing is, the super plume and the black star, the combination is causing El Nino and what's happening underneath. So those horn formations underneath Antarctica, they're pushing higher too. And it's around these horn formations that that magma gets super hot and then starts rising, effervescing, and then pushes up against the tectonic plate and migrating. So there are volcanoes under Antarctica, but they lay dormant most of the time. But they're getting ready to become active. And that makes our friends, the reptilian amphibious races, a little nervous as this is happening because they're becoming vulnerable to detection. And as this is happening, if there's an advanced civilization on Earth that has airplanes and spacecraft and such, then they realize that they can become more vulnerable. They're about to be needed to fix the mess that the black star is about to make on the planet. And so they're poised to meet up with Elijah and start the restoration of all things. They're moving through a critical period just like we are. Just keep watching. You're going to see more and more news about Antarctica and the calving of ice sheets and super hot weather along with right now so the cold weather in place. There's going to be hot and cold happening at the same time down there because what's happening inside the Earth, it's dynamic. It's of what's happening. Super hot mixing with super cold, kind of like we're seeing here in the United States right now. We have cooler than average temperatures right now, and we're about to have 95, 100-degree temperature here in Northwest Arkansas. Karen's been having hot temps up here. Now she's about to have record cold temps. That happens with the polar vortex phenomenon. And you're seeing super hot weather in Europe, and that is the heating up from underneath, and then that affects the ocean conveyors. Ocean conveyor belts breaking. It actually broke 2010, 2012. Polar vortex phenomenon started 2012, but the now underneath Europe and the pooling of that magma and Mount Etna, you see it's acting up. Then super hot, super hot. We're getting ready to have the hottest temps that we've seen in a long time, and killing crops and the black star is getting closer and closer. Super plumes is becoming mature in the entire Earth magnetic transition zone, pushing beyond the boundaries. So the Earth is losing its ability to sustain life, drying out in preparation for this to happen. Extremely dry. And so I'm located here in 220, 230, 240 kilometers of North American craton here. But even the entire North American craton, the heat is pooling around the craton. More and more evidence of magma upwelling and cumulatively gathering that heat. And just like high pressure goes to low pressure in the atmosphere, constantly adjusting. High pressure going to low pressure. Then inside the Earth, the hot is going to the cold all the time. So the heat is building up and it's moving to the cooler. And it's a cumulative effect of the North American craton is heating up now. From the pooling magma that's pooled all the way around it. And we're seeing more evidence of it. And the drying out that's been happening out here it's going to continue to migrate. Dust bowl conditions are going to happen. In here, dust bowl conditions are trying to happen here now, and it's just going to proliferate and get worse and worse as we're moving forward. So finally, the website's been updated. A few links have been added to the website, and as I get time and the energy, then I'm going to update with Substack posts. And next time I talk to Leo, then he's looking at maybe, it depends on how much time he has and how much time I have, then he's looking at upgrading Terrell03.com using AI and such. And we'll see if that happens. People have been threatening to help me to upgrade. So I'm not a website guy. I just did the best that I could getting Terrell03.com going after Bill had his heart attacks and such. And so we'll see. Then hopefully he sets once he says once it's set up, then it's easy to do. AI is doing most of the work. And then I'll try to move some Substack posts over there and do some more research and update things. It has been in desperate need of being updated for quite some time. So I'm going to do that whenever I can. So you can see the new projected date is 6/10. That could even be 6/9. But 6/10 and December 10th, 11th could be 6th. The events are it looks like they may be striking early, as explained before. So it's putting those electromagnetic wires together, add the energy from near proximity, and then boom, the action can happen quicker than predicted. But those dates are going to be really close, within a day. Okay, numbers, averages for subscribers. Hope you'll subscribe and support me if you can. If you have the resources, still just $25 a year to be a subscriber. You get discounts on your nano silver. You get a copy of my book, The Mystery Explained, attached to your notification email. And this is down at the bottom of the chart where we're looking at. We're still in red values. We've only had 3 red values since just almost this year. Going back into January, the middle January, we've only had 3 green values. That's 299 and below. Everything below 300. The rest of them are all red. We're down to, we had 487 last week for week 13. That's the high water mark. You can see the high water mark, 487. Now we're on our way back down again. 62. I mean, you can see this is something happened here. We definitely had a big speed bump there in week 13. We passed between the 2 stars. I mean, the evidence is right there in the chart. Now we're on our way back down. 12 of the 6 magnitude earthquakes for a 2-week total. Let's see, there's 9 here. Here we go. 11. So when we had a pair of 7 magnitude earthquakes, week 20. But it's pretty rare. It's back in 2025 in transition from July to October. So pretty high value, having 12 of these 6 magnitude earthquakes together. So 2,538 days with 84 quakes. That is far below the average. We should have had 139 over that period, according to the historical average. So we're losing 7 magnitude earthquakes. So since, what is this? Since April, we had 1 in April, and then we didn't have any. We should have 1 every 18 to 20 days. Historically, that's the average. We have just 1 7 magnitude earthquake, and that's on the alignment, the Philippines quake. See how long before we have another one. See how much this near side alignment quake is going to stand out in the chart. Now, this is the near side. My apologies yesterday. I realized after after I started processing, oh, I didn't show you guys the earthquakes. But it was only for 1 day. This is for the week. The one that Mike Snyder just wrote about is this 5-pointer here, the 5.5. I checked it out earlier. They downgraded from 5.6, I do believe. There's another 5 there's with it. Was that a 5.2? Yeah, 5.2. So this could be precursor. That most certainly could be precursor to quake, to something else that's happening here. That's not in my report. This 5.5 just struck, I do believe. Well, let me see. Oh yeah, 5.5 was there. You can see it right there. So just looking at 9 harmonic tremors, that's a little bit higher. Remember that pressures were up from 7, 7, 3 7s and an 8, and then 9. So the expectation is that those numbers are going to increase now that the pressure inside the Earth is decreasing. We'll see if that happens. The prediction for the previous report that we would see the deep harmonic tremor push under the Kuril Islands was accurate. And this is a real fast cycle within about 7 days. See, this old quake is dropping off the map, and then we skipped the Philippines and Japan and then jumped right to the Kuril Islands. You can see the boom, boom, boom here. And then the That's a lot deeper, by the way, than it looks like on the chart. I had to make it fit. And so this one's going to drop off, and my expectation is, as it's written in the report, that the new activity is going to begin right here underneath Indonesia and then start the cycle up again. And it just seems to me that Japan is going to get hit on the next turn. They got skipped this time, which means pressure's building. There's a lot of other activity that's happening with Japan. A lot of concern and worries, which there should be. That's looks like a hot spot of activity. But this region is quiet, deep. This is where this is the subducted zone underneath, where the plate is like a giant hangnail. It goes down and then it makes a giant C, and that slab breaks off down there, and the activity picks up sometimes and it drops off sometimes. When we're at outside orbital position, that's when we've had the maximum number of those deep quakes. Up to 20 of these deep quakes we can have. That happens when we're at the 90 position. When we're in alignment, then the number is smaller. Seems like when the pressure inside the Earth is at its greatest, then those plates don't like to break off so much. But that means the pressure is building, and as the pressure decreases, then they start snapping off, and they do it in a pattern, starting off in Indonesia, and then they snap, 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 going north, and they end up here at the Kuril Islands. And the whole cycle starts over again. That was identified years ago. That's pretty much that's what's going to happen. You'll see a big, deep. Sometimes whenever the pattern pauses, like it just did, then you get a sister quakes that strike. They start right here, boom, boom. One shallower, one deeper. So we'll see if this might be the shallow quake right here, the white one. That might be the shallow quake there, and then another one follows. We'll see if that happens. So we're up to 9 on these harmonic tremors. We'll see if that number continues to go higher. We had Argentina 4.5 at 587 kilometers. You get about a dozen of those per year. There's one of them. And then there's the 9, 8 last week, 7s before that. So these numbers are now on the uptick, increasing. And we'll see if that trend continues. You know, always going to go up and down, up and down. But generally, that's the pattern. This is the backside of the planet. If you remember from last week, this side of the planet was extremely boring. All the activity was on the other side with way high jacked up numbers. Then some of the activity crawled along the fault lines, and there's actually more activity this week along quarter 3, 4, and the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. Well, there's only one quake along quarter 4. There was 0 last week. So that's it's slow, but it's an uptick from last week. And the activity at the Sandwich Islands, this is a barometer quake swarm area that I watch along with Puerto Rico and Hawaii. The 3 primaries to kind of get a barometer of what's going on inside the Earth. This is increasing. This activity from the other side of the planet now has pushed along the fault lines, and it's now being released on this side of the planet. And this could be part of the South American bulge trying to kick off again. But I looked, I'm about to show you again, and there are no well-defined signatures. This activity here is trying to be the Eurasian bulge. It's just not enough for me to say that it is, but you see all the white centers up in here. Let's go down here and look. So you don't see it well-defined bulge of Antarctica anymore. This bulging activity is not as well-defined moving through the wall period. Maybe if I lowered to 1 magnitude quakes or 0 and up and went back in time a little bit more, then you would be able to see a pattern there, but I'm looking specifically for this report, 2.5 and greater. So that signature, it could still be the heartbeat pattern is still happening. It's just lower magnitude. But this series of 5 magnitudes then could be part of the bulging that's happening here as energy is trying to transfer. And you see all the lighter colors that's happening here. That energy generally goes Antarctica first. Remember, the magnetic polar connection that's connected to our planet is in the southern hemisphere from the black star. So it's connecting, disconnecting. And if we're behind the sun, it's on a longer series of cycles. It takes more time. The Earth takes more juice, but less. And then it disconnects and reconnects with fewer active conduits. Well, whenever we're close to the black star, it's connecting and disconnecting more rapidly. And as we're approaching the black star, an increased number of active conduits at each connection. Then whenever we get right next to it, I mean, it's going zap, zap, zap with the most amount of active conduits. That's why we have so much activity. But now we're moving away from it. So each time that because we're moving away and the magnetic polar connection length is growing, then at each disconnection and reconnection, there's fewer active conduits. There's fewer conduits on the inner part that are large, that it's I'm having trouble saying this, my apologies. There's fewer internal conduits actively conducting energy, the subatomic particle flows. So as we're moving away from the black star, more and more of those conduits are transitioning over to the passive state, providing more insulation for the magnetic polar connection. So, and the Earth receives less electromagnetic energy from the black star. At the same time, we're moving away from the sun. Even though it's not that much, it's not that great, we have the same deal going on. We're moving away from the black star and we're moving away from the sun until 4th of July. On 4th of July, we turn around and start heading back toward the sun. So that 4th of July just happens to be the aphelion position of our planet. We're furthest away from the sun at that time. The closest on January the 2nd or 3rd, depending on where you are on the Earth. Okay, so you're seeing the shades of darker and lighter, the energy, the pulse and the heartbeat, and that's happening inside of our planet because of this black star superplume relationship. Electromagnetic energy pulsing through our planet is from southern hemisphere to the northern hemisphere is the way that those pulses are happening. And pulsing is like a drum beat. It has a pattern to it, a frequency to it. It builds up power and energy inside our Earth that pulsates like a heartbeat. It builds and builds, and then that energy is transferred from the southern hemisphere to the north. A series of rings is the way that I envision it. And then they collide together and they come back again. You get this going back and forth of energy inside the Earth, and particularly in the Earth mantle transition zone. That's what causes these horn formations to spike up and down, spike up and down. That pulsing, that energy pulses into the pooling of the magma. So it's a pulsating, so the Earth is a living thing, and it has this heartbeat that's going on the inside. On top of that, inside the Earth mantle transition zone, that superplume is growing like a infant inside of an embryo, I should say, inside of a mother's womb. So the transition zone is kind of like the womb, and the superplume's like the embryo that's growing, and now it's outgrowing. It's just growing. It's going to blow outside the Earth mantle transition zone. That's what's happening to the Earth. Those horn formations are pushing higher and higher. The glassy-type magma outside, remember that the superplume is filled with magnetite. It's silica-based magma, but it's also filled with metal, and it's pushing the glassy-type magma out of the transition zone. And it wants to actually push above the transition zone because it's lighter than the metal that's underneath the zone. So you're getting this, the Earth, this heat exchange. It's a law of economy, and that is transferring that heat ever more quickly from the magnetic polar connections through the core, through the transition zone, up into the rocky-type magma. That's happening. The heat is growing now exponentially inside of our planet, so that the water cannot keep it cool. It cannot. Cumulatively, the ocean is heating up, and the hot, and it's the same thing. The hot's trying to move to the cold. So we've in this part of the where civilization is on our planet, where it's temperate, warmer climates, then we've been spared so far because the cool side of the planet has been absorbing that. Well, now we're getting to the later stages. The black star is almost here, and we're you're seeing super duper El Nino now. The largest body of water on our planet can no longer protect us from what's coming. And you're going to see more and more evidence of the heat that's coming from underneath the ocean. And it's because of the energy that I just showed you, the dual magnetic portal connections and the law of economy. That's the that's causing the earth changes. The people that think that global warming is not true, then they're just ignoring the evidence. A lot of people are on that bandwagon. They think that it's not human. It's caused by what's coming from space, but it's happening for sure all around us. Temperatures going up. Earth is responding to it. And the temperature of the oceans don't have to go up very much before you got too much ice in the water, and then we're getting ready to see that dramatically happen with the coastlines intruding on the earth. We're growing from the inside out. 5 is the number of new volcanic eruptions that struck. That is up from 3 and 3 and 4. So we've been in neutral values. You see the alignment is in the middle of this. We were higher, and then we got down to the minimum 3 and 3, and now these numbers are going back up again. We're into the 5. We'll see how long it takes us before we get into the new volcanic eruption numbers that are up into the. You see the pair of 5s here. See a pair of neutrals together a lot of times in the chart. 5, 5. See it? Look at all those 5s. Neutral numbers. See 5, 5. See 5, 5. 4, 5. A pair of them together happens quite a bit. So we'll see if we get another neutral number and then go back into the reds. See, there's a pattern to these. Like there's a pattern to these up here too. The number of deep harmonic tremors underneath Fiji, and the number of these of the deep harmonic tremors under Fiji, and the number of new volcanic eruption events. There's a pattern to them. It's like the heartbeat thing that I was describing earlier. Everybody with resources, you've been warned to relocate away from the coast, away from highly populated areas. Societal support mechanisms are coming under increased attack. Food and water shortages, power outages, they're going to continue to intensify. Survivalist preppers should be exploring every avenue for transferring resources from fiat paper to survival-related commodities. Guns, ammo, water purification, diesel, gas, propane, anything that's power in a bottle, power in a tank, power in a battery, power that you can have with you. Everyone's advised to join a strong survival group to increase the chances of survival for everybody involved. God bless you guys, and thank you for your support. You're in the extreme minority. If you're supporting me financially in any way, then you're among the few remaining. Long-range Western missiles this was cross-posted this morning, are being fired deep into Russian territory. Oh, Scott Ritter. I heard some bad things said about Scott Ritter the other day. And I think that he's one of the best commentators on what's going on in Russia in particular. But his experience is superb, and I try to keep the personal part out of it, even if what's saying against him is true. Then I think his commentary, he actually goes over there to Russia and speaks to Russians. And he is not scared to just say what it is. And I like that. Even though Europeans are going to hate on him a lot, and he's somebody made that they tried to kill him with a drone, from what I hear. I don't know if that's true or not. It sure looks like it. He's ready to give somebody a bloody nose over it. But anyway, I'm going to keep sending you to Scott Ritter. I think that he has good commentary, like the Colonels, Daniel Davis. And I'm assuming that you guys are keeping up with me on Substack, and that you are following these links, these people. I'm not going to sit and give you a lot of commentary on what's going on in Russia. I'll give you some little background information. I cannot do the deep dive on all that like I used to. I'm physically not capable to do it. But the EU particularly is poking the Russian bear, and they're going to pay for it. It looks like that NATO countries are going to get attacked, and I can't blame Russia for doing it. And I can't blame Hezbollah for attacking Israel in Lebanon. Can't blame them for that. As long as Israel is stomping around and killing people, Lebanese people, destroying their houses and doing whatever Israel's doing there. I mean, imagine if Canada was doing that inside the United States, or if Mexico was doing that inside the United States. Our neighbors took tanks and was coming in, and they were destroying our houses and this and that. What would you think we would do? Especially if our military didn't do anything about it. What would we do? We would have to create a guerrilla army of our own to defend our families. We'd have to. That's the way I see it over there. And there's a lot of propaganda going on, and some of us are vulnerable to it, and some of us aren't. I'm not vulnerable to any of that propaganda. They're not going to trick me. And I'm just calling it like I see it. That's what I'm always going to do. Hemorrhaging the country to death. Pentagon asked Congress for $8 billion more. The war in Iran and the war in Ukraine is draining us of resources. That's why they're doing it. You say, well, it's the Israel lobby. It's AIPAC and all that. No, it's not. Those are the puppets. The puppeteers are the global bankster cartel. The global bankster cartel is putting those puppets on the stage for you to see, for you to hate them and to manipulate you. It's not Israel's fault. It's not Trump's fault either. I don't hate Trump for what he's doing. He's a puppet. If he doesn't do what he's told, he's going to be like Abraham Lincoln and JFK and Saddam Hussein, the rest of them. They're going to be dead. There's videos out there right now about people that are threatening Trump. And the Congress is trying to spend money that we don't have. That devalues they just print it up, print it up, print it up. The Fed just prints it up. They're doing that anyway. They're keeping Japan afloat. Right now, Japan should have already collapsed. Multiple times, Japan should have already collapsed. The back door of the Fed, the off-balance sheet, printing up money, sending it to Japan, sending it to Germany, sending it to these different countries because the global banks cartel wants to dictate when the global economy is going to collapse. It's an artificial economy. It's not. There's nothing that's real about it. It's being propped up by the world reserve currency. That's why these countries see that the dollar is being printed to oblivion, and they're printing at the same pace, so nobody notices. They're all in on it. The world should never accept the dollar being printed to oblivion as the world reserve currency. They say, "Hey, what are you doing? You can't do that." But they're all part of the game. And our Congress is so corrupt. It seems like, that Russian tank. Did you guys see the big tank that the lid blew off? That is symbolic of something. The corruption here in the United States, that lid needs to blow off. The Tom Cottons, and he was one of my favorite Congress senators until my eyes were opened up and I'm going, holy cow, holy cow. Section 666, attachment to the NDAA. He's the one pushing that stuff, and he's received over $1 million from AIPAC, the Israeli lobby. I'm like, oh my God, this thing goes corruption is everywhere. It's right here in our backyard. National emergency. Trump cancels House bill signing until Congress passes a voter ID law. This is all academic. Trump is rearranging chairs on the USS Titanic. There's too many people suffering. Too many people in the middle where elections are won. There's too many people in the middle that are suffering. And it's not going to stop suffering because of this. Even if you find a way to get this bill through, there's going to be cheating. They're already figuring out the Dems. It's not the Dems. It's the Uniparty. They're going to figure out how to get the people they want in power in power. They're going to primary it. Trump is primarying people. And then some of the people he's wanting to put in are being primaried by other people because of all the APAC money that's coming in. And it's not just them. The Israeli lobby, the medical lobby, the open border lobby, kabillions and kabillions of dollars. I don't even say billions anymore. Kabillions are bribing that we know about, our senators and our congressmen. The whole system is running on corruption. So Trump's he's trying to appeal. Trump has the same problems as Netanyahu. Are you paying attention to the commentary coming from the colonels and corruption? The Trump coin and all that stuff. There's so much corruption involved. The manipulation of the markets, the billions that are being made by Trump and his billionaire buddies. They don't care about us. We're being milked like a dairy cow. We're being milked for everything until we bleed. House passes major housing affordability bill. This is what you guys sent me. Marv, this is one of the things. I'm not focusing on biological weapon. That's the biggest threat. This is what you guys are sending me. I'm not saying it's bad. There's a threat in this, big time. I mean, you're on the target. You're right. You're hovering right over the corruption. House passes major affordability bill, sending it to Trump's desk. It doesn't matter. This is a dog and pony show, making it look like they're trying to appeal to their base. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many bills you pass, because you're dealing with a currency that's being debased. So this affordability bill is going to have appropriations attached to it, right? Like the billions that they need to send to Ukraine and the billions they need to send to Israel. They have to print up more money that they don't have. We're already at a deficit. Every bill they pass that has appropriations requires the printing of more money that's going to make the dollars in your pocket worthless. So they're telling you this is how terrible this is. They don't just think we're stupid. We're stupid. This is what they can sell to us, the American people. Major housing. This is since what they're bragging down here. Oh, this is bipartisan because they're all corrupt. 358 to 32. There's 38 conservatives that realize what's going on with all the spending is wrong. 32 out of all of them. This is the biggest legislation. I must have had to cut it off before then. I think I can't remember now. For a long time, the biggest bill ever passed. But the appropriations that's needed to get to implement their program means that the Fed has to just print up more money. I used to say that the Treasury printed up more money. What a joke! Because our Department of Printing and Engraving and everybody in the Treasury once upon a time actually went through the process of printing up the bills and putting the Fed's name on it and shipping it and all that. Some of that still goes on, but it's the Fed in their printing machines now. They just print it out of thin air and devalue everybody else's money. Tim Scott. Yeah, I saw Tom Cotton again. I'm like, oh my God, Tom Cotton. Japan, first domino in the sovereign debt crisis. Martin Armstrong's on the case. Should have already collapsed. This is the canary in the coal mine that we're supposed to be watching for the collapse of the global economy, along with silver. Japan is the first major currency that's going to collapse. And the euro is going to drag the euro under. Then it's going to start dragging hedge funds and other governments down. And then the United States is going to be pulled under too. They're all connected. Gigantic bay, harbor of safety, chained together, and they start going under. The whole system is going to be pulled under. That's how they're going to get us into central bank digital currencies. This is that the jellyfish. This big, gigantic threat. All of our aircraft carriers are in threat. Even if they're in dry dock, they're under threat right now from space. Rail guns from space. There's so much that the regular public just not even made aware of. Then the drone attacks. Uh, a submarine comes up undetected, and it releases drones, and they fly into the U.S. cities, and they just start tearing stuff up. No defense against it. Swarm attacks, drone attacks. That's how they're going to take out our aircraft carriers in dry dock. Swarm attacks. There's going to be no defense against it whenever it happens. The whole world's going to change. Okay, get you through the links. Yeah, this is that. Came in at the last second. Martin Armstrong. Recommend him. He has good perspective on stuff. World governments call him. They have him on speed dial. Try to help them solve their problems. House passes major affordability bill. Last ones that came in. Oh, this is I pulled up this link. This is thinking about going patent pending on this again. But you can check out the link if you know somebody with resources, with real resources, and especially if you have kidney stones and you're sick and tired of having them, you can have them all removed in a single procedure, like I did. I've been to the emergency room I don't know how many times. The first time I had my first kidney stone attack, I was in Miami, Florida. I was at Storm Chaser, me and my cousin and I, and super dehydrated, and I can remember going to my knees and losing my cookies. First time I felt that pain, the very, 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 very first time. Didn't know when the heck was going on, and I've had motorcycle accidents, I've broken bones, and playing football. So when I broke my first bone, and broken ribs. I know what broken ribs is. I know what it is to sneeze and re-break your ribs. I know what that's painful, man. Really, really painful. And I thought I knew what pain was, but when I had my first kidney stone attack, I knew what pain was. It took me to my knees. They had to carry me. It was so painful. It took me to the emergency room. And I've been, after that, at least I knew what the pain was, because I had it about every 10 months until Dr. Shibley and having my entire urinary system pressurized and having them all removed. And that's my hands up. I thank God Almighty that I don't have to go through that anymore. The only way to ensure you're not going to have another kidney stone attack is to remove all the stones. So once you have a stone, the first one that I had was 5 millimeters. If you don't know, that's very, very small. And it looked like a football. It was black. And I felt that stone expelled from my ureter from the pressurized. I used a dilator cuff and pressurized my bladder until there was enough pressure to push up the ureter and dilate that little section of ureter above the stone. And it caused it to shoot across my bladder like a BB. It went pew! And when that happened, all the pressure that was in my kidney, in the upper kidney, in the ureter, rushed into my bladder. I'll never forget it to this day. Instantly, my sense of smell returned. I'd lost my sense of smell. My body was shutting down. There was so much pain. I went to the emergency room, and they wouldn't help me. Later, I went and got my x-rays and saw what was happening. The final 2 x-rays were from another guy. They took him into surgery because my ureter was completely blocked. I had acute hydronephrosis, complete 100% blockage of the ureter. So every time my heart beat, my system was going boom. And the next time it was a bigger boom. And that's whenever the mystery report stuff came to me, the three witnesses on that is when I was going through this near-death experience. It was like euphoria. It was like I don't even have words to describe it. And my life flashing before my eyes, and vapor plasma integrated engines, and pressure sheet technology, and more stuff than I can explain if I live 3 more lifetimes. It was like dumping infinity inside of a shot glass, and overspilling. Everything was overspilling. I only was able to catch a few things. Pressure sheet technology was part of it, and vapor plasma integrated engines. I went patent pending on that. Never had the resources to ever do anything. And I would love to be able to do that too. Those engines are way better than anything that's on the market today. And I invented it, but I can't say I invented this or that or any of this. Lord God showed it to me through that time, through that period of time. So that was 1989 whenever I had that experience. So if you know anybody, I've shared the link with you guys. If you know anybody that's got resources, ain't scared of the medical lobby, then I mean, what the heck? Getting near the end of the line feels like I may as well. I'd like to be able to leave that with the black stars coming and everything. We're going to have this on the other side of what's coming, the period that's coming up. These things that I've seen, the Lord God's going to give it. Elijah's going to give it to everybody. That everybody's going to be able to have it. Those things. The world's going to be a much better place on the other side of what's about to come. $1 billion surprise. How this link is at the top of the newsletter. In the links at the top of the newsletter. $1 billion surprise. Solar cycle 25. France is reporting the first case of Ebola. At some point, it's going to be a weaponized version. When activation day happens, people all over the world are going to have Ebola. People are carrying it around right now. It's inside the chimeras for hemorrhagic fever, Ebola, Marburg are encapsulated inside of the SARS, of the coronavirus. The payload section. Everybody talks about the spike protein on the outside. They don't talk about what's inside the payload. See, it's like a walnut, kind of. It's a shell. What's inside is encapsulated. See, when the electromagnetic pulses activate the biological weapon, it's going to crack open these microbes, and inside chimeras, Ebola, Marburg, everybody's going to have it, except for those of us that are on the regimen, because the microbes have been reprogrammed, zapped and reprogrammed. Your health privacy at risk. CDC wants to trick you and trap you into giving away your personal information. It's very difficult for you to give away your personal information when the AT&T and Facebook and everybody else, Google, everybody already has it. Super AI already has everything about everybody. Super AI knows what you had for breakfast this morning, and he knows what you're going to have for tomorrow and the next day. He runs futuristic sims for everything that he wants to know about everything. That's what he does. That's just normal activity for super AI. Straight apocalyptic. Horseback rider finds hundreds. Check this out. I'm going to turn the... Okay, don't get ready. Don't want to blow out your ears.
This is straight apocalyptic. Somebody is summoning something here.
You see all of these solar powered speakers. and they're using different frequencies to accomplish something. But this could be, just look at the spectrum. This could be a lot of things. If you don't know, these people don't know. The people down in the comments are guessing. They don't know. This could be a millionaire, billionaire guy that's trying to heal the earth. On the other side, it could be somebody, like they say, trying to conjure up. The cat sends me different frequencies for. We do that back and forth with each other. I've got a sleep deal. You can use sound for all kinds of things. If you're having difficulty sleeping, which I do, then I've experimented with different sounds. I found the one that helps me to sleep at night. Then I don't have to depend on sleeping pills and anything else to put me to sleep. And did I share with you the sound that puts me to sleep? It's a sound from my childhood. Experimented quite a few sounds. The sound of train cabin sounds. Whenever we moved from, well, we lived in Virginia when I was young, up until I was 4 years old. Then we used to travel down to visit my grandmother, and we'd take the train. And on the going on the train, and we always took the cheapest, the very cheapest that you can get, which was the midnight red eye stuff. And so we were sleeping, and I remember the sound of the train tracks, and that used to put me to sleep big time. So now the train cabin sounds is the one that does it for me. Green noise also was my. So this is kind of like green noise. That the person, it could be malevolent or benevolent. I don't know which it is. Mute intense pain. See, this is one that Kat sent me. If you're having, if you're trying to mute pain, sudden injury, sharp pain. So Lisa, this might help you. Carrie's daughter, Lisa, if you're paying attention. She broke her arm. She's having some difficulties. The frequency heals. You can, Brian, you might not want to do it, but you can sit with your AI and practice different sounds for different things until you get a positive result. Late night braking. The gas is running out. Oh, this is the fella. He wants to put his Bible interpretations. I do that now and then. I don't want to be critical. If you guys send me Bible questions, then especially if other articles that you've sent to me, like Michael Snyder wrote about the end of the age and all that, I'm going, wait a minute, we're not here. I need to say something on this, and I'll give you my commentary. Otherwise, it'll wait for a mystery report. But no matter, gas is this oil shock. Most people don't see it coming. If you're zombieing out to Fox News, you don't hardly see anything coming. Well, this is the Autobahn. That is relatively inexpensive, and it works for us. Mass extinctions by gravitational tides. It's kind of what I'm talking about. Gravitational tides. That happens not only with ocean waters outside the Earth, but it happens in space, from and coming in, and it happens from the super plume and the waves that are going through it. The synchronicity, if you will, between the magnetic portal connections when we reach certain phases, 90-degree angle positions, and it's a dynamic fluid situation inside of our Earth. You get different combinations of waves that are passing through our Earth that cause things to happen. It can change the environment inside of our Earth. We were going through that whenever the super plume was in an infant state. We had magma wave rebound happening. Buoyancy barrier corridor, buoyancy barrier corridors for primaries at the beginning, and you had these deep harmonic tremors creating these big booms and wave action. That wave action would go to the terminal ends and then return. It would coalesce at the terminal ends, dilate, and then come back with a boom, big giant booms, 7 magnetic earthquake booms. that the pattern was identified and created a pattern leading up to 2016 and 17. And 2018, that all changed with Hawaii and the mantle plume connection that was made. Changed the shape of the super plume dramatically, and then it started growing out of control. To now, no more of that coalition, uh, collating action like before. But this is also, this link is shared atop the newsletter for you to be able to check it out. Now, this is Jennifer. This link is also there. It is the blood clot link atop the newsletter. You'll see Ontario, the YouTube channel, and you see this. This is the other of her. I was hoping to have some correspondence back and forth. She wants to talk to me on the phone. I can't do that. I mean, it's 5:12 right now, and I haven't even got done this part. But she wants to talk, and then which Jennifer's giving me more back and forth than Sabrina Wallace ever will. When she has Sabrina Wallace, she has her nose to the grindstone, and she's not taking it off for nothing. You know, I was kind of like that before I had to slow, physically, just slow down or break. But she's still running along. You just can't get her attention. A lot of people are like that. So, and Jennifer might be like that too. So I was trying to get a back and forth going with her. Maybe that's going to happen. At some point, I'll stop and make a Substack post and share what she's sharing to be able to get you more access to her information. She's on the regimen. She's staying on the regimen. She's thanking me for that. That helped her to defeat the the bioweapon that's inside of all of us. She's just more aware of it. She has pictures of it. She knows what she's fighting. And whenever you check out her videos, you might freak out. I'm just saying, you just might freak out. I didn't have time to go through and vet and see what kind of foundation I have to build to introduce you to all that. At some point that I hope to be able to do that. It's probably going to be after I recover. That, that I'm in limbo now. I haven't even started to recover yet. Long range Western missiles being fired. Yeah. Poking the bear. I need to get you through these links. Natural emergency. Yeah, these are the top featured article. We're hemorrhaging. We're being weaker, made weaker and weaker every single day. Greenspan. Don't worry, Greenspan and those guys on the other side of the veil. We're not through with them. Cheney, Dick Cheney, the Rothschild monsters have been manipulating us. The ones that killed John F. Kennedy, the ones that killed Abraham Lincoln. We're not done with them. We're going to be visiting them for ages to come. They're monsters from our infinite realm. And as ages go by, we're going to learn more and more and more about how hideous they really are. We're going to see them in their nakedness. We're going to see God's wrath seared into their foreheads. The Lord God's going to put them down before us and make them know, every one of them, infinitely how much that He loves us every step of the way. So we're suffering under them now. They're going to suffer for ages and ages and ages and ages, and we're going to be witnesses of it. So just hold on a little bit longer. No exit. The credit bubble. Yeah, if you have your money in with Apollo Global Management, these big funds, so you're hearing about Japan, and you're hearing about Apollo, and you're going to be hearing about these big hedge funds, and just BlackRock. You're going to be hearing about all these guys. They're straining and struggling. People want their money, they can't get it. And you don't have to hold on much longer before this whole house of cards is going to come tumbling down. Just have yourself. It's going to be a musical chairs game. Just make sure that you have a chair. Yes, you're not sitting down on nothing. Your preps, the preps you're making right now, that's your chair. This is Liberty Bell gold coin, secret sign of impending revaluation. Yeah, she's talking about gold revaluation too. It's a game that's going to be played to try to weasel out of debt. We can begin be beneficiaries of that, pardon me, if we have metals. They're talking about gold, but silver is the poor man's gold, right? I don't know about you. Never owned any gold. So hold on to your silver. Don't let them talk you out of it. Look at that, down to the 60s. This is a good sign for prepping. This is all going to turn around. You're going to see green, and it's not going to go away. You're going to see, you see down here, you're seeing that drop from over 100. We're in a valley. This is going to go back up again past this. I'm not kidding you. We're going to see where we pray that the price of oil can just go down to $100 again. We're just not there yet. E China e-commerce is finished. So what's happening there is happening here in the United States with a liquidity crisis. You're going to get tired of hearing that word, liquidity crisis. And whenever they print up money, just print it up, print it up, print it up, it goes into the markets because the people on the top are getting richer and those of us on the bottom are getting poorer and poorer. Discretionary income is drying up globally. Do you think you can move to Portugal or Spain or something, get away? You can't. This is a global phenomenon. People in some countries have it better. If you're checking out China, then they can still buy a meal for $1 over there. But more and more Ch Chinese are not happy. At some point, China's going to have to do something, like Russia's going to have to do something. Their generals are going to force them to do something because the people are going to revolt if they don't. Here in the United States, should be the same situation, but the United States is full of dupes that'll believe just about anything. And if you have a population of dupes, you can keep them believing that everything's just fine all the way until you're ready to destroy them. Dow Jones, that's looking like a kind of a flat number for 50,000. Down in the 50s for silver. Remember I told you 52 is the floor down here, 50s. So if you've been keeping your powder dry to get into silver, then 56 is what it was earlier. Then you just decide what's a dip. If 58 is not a dip for you yet, you're waiting for 20, maybe possible. If you have resources and you're waiting, then I'm not going to tell you when the bottom is. I don't know when the bottom is. And for me personally, now, even if it went down to 40, and if I have what resources I have has to go into something else. $57 in London, and Shanghai is in the 60s. Or the manufacturers now that they got to be thinking, when can I get some that is it going to go down to 20 something again? Because this is manipulation by the global banks cartel. They didn't suddenly discover a bunch of silver, but the more they push it down, the more silver they're shaking out of the people that are going, oh my God, oh my God. I want to sell before it gets down to zero. Panic selling. And they're going to drain everybody till they get to the last panic seller. And they just can't get any more. And then they're going to start it up again. And then get it so high, people start selling again. Panic selling because it's high. And they're going to drain the world of its metals. They being the global banks cartel. They're going to take it with them to the underground cities. And price of gold, well, that's kind of odd, isn't it? That means the ratio went up. It's got to be above 65. Is it? Look at it, 70 to 1. If you have any gold, you might want to get into some silver. Here's the guy that I trust. 952-213-8930. Don't text him. Call him. Tell him Terrell Croft sent you. I recommend. Do you have any walking liberties? 1 ounce silver walking liberties. Do you have any in stock? If not, the Buffalo Round's what I recommend. I haven't even looked at the chart in a while. Now that you have access to the chart on my page, I don't trade emails back and forth with Justin like I used to. This is the best link to share. So I'm going to start keeping this one up and sharing it in my YouTube comments and Substack comments and such. This is a link to the original post, the week the earth stood still, and all these files. You can have access, these charts and stuff. You can download them for free. Please go take them, have them, share them, make a post about it. Say, hey, this tarot guy, here's the charts. Maybe somebody will see a pattern in the charts I don't see. But that once upon a time you had to be a newsletter subscriber or a survivor group member subscriber to be able to have access to that. Now I just want you guys to have the information. Introducing, the Black Star update report. And I think I can stop sharing this one. 45 subscribers. That's what it was this morning. 45 subscribers. I'm putting this link in the newsletter to see how many actual newsletter subscribers go there and subscribe. Let's see if it's still 45. By the way, the newsletter from when I pulled up these links, I had to pull up an old newsletter from 2 weeks ago. It had a mistake in it, and I did correct it. This is Cuba struck. I'll stop sharing this with you. Deer side alignment. That's a link you can share with somebody. But I tell you from experience, more than a decade, the summer is the absolute worst time to try to get support for anything. And you could be talking to yourself in the summer. I used to just take the summer off. Tercel, but activation day could happen anytime. Most people don't even know what that is. Trump is Pied Piper. We're being played big time. How to purchase mixed use in store. Have your orders in. Take advantage of it while you still have the opportunity. 8 a.m. Central Time on Friday is the cutoff. It's whenever peanut butter is the fan, everybody's going to wish they had more nano silver. Mystery Explained, God's Wisdom Hidden in Plain Sight. I had a experience with them today I haven't had before. There's a new policy. You see this used from the very beginnings, from 2018. People return the Mystery Explained. So that makes used books available, right? There's been used books available from the beginning. All of a sudden, whenever somebody returns a book, my publisher charges me. So now I'm getting charges from people returning their books. And seriously, I have to ask myself if having the Mystery Explained available is worth it. I mean, financially, it is not worth it. For sure, it's most certainly not worth it. But, I like having it available. Maybe one person out there is going to they're going to see it. Because once you see it, it changes everything. Whenever we're on the other side of the veil and we're at the judgment, the point is going to be made of how valuable that information is for all the sons of God, every single son of God, for all the ages to come. The point's going to be made, and it was made available to people for free, and they didn't capitalize on the opportunity. It's really a shame. Protect your vehicle, protect your house, protect your solar panel system. military grade equipment. You can click the link and save $50 every device. They may still be running the Father's Day special. I'm not sure if it's extended or not. That's high density wave coming off the sun for sure. Am I concerned about anything coming off the sun? I am not. I'm kind of surprised that there's that much because there's no obvious. I mean, there's not a sunspot or anything. Yeah, you're getting up 800 kilometers per second is what comes out of the sunspots. What comes out of coronal holes. California just got another major warning that the big one is coming. This is the one that was just posted just before. I'm just showing it to you. If I have something that needs to be, see a link or something that needs to be, I'll cross post this one and send it to you. That's the 5 magnitude earthquake. Salton Sea drops 91% in 48 hours. If you ever need a warning for the West Coast of the United States, 91% in 48 hours. So what that does is it exposes all this toxicity and from what was the lake bed, and then it dries out, and then the wind catches it and it blows it and people breathe it. Kind of like the air duct deal from the beginning with Gilbert. Kind of the same thing. And then when it gets in your air ducts, then it can, what's down in that bed is nasty. And then it gets into your ducts and then it gets nastier, particularly if it gets wet. A lot of these, something's changing at Yellowstone. Ray's noticing new vents. You have some of the ground collapsing, creating new pools. Up corridor 2A, right here. Part of that pulsating wave action. You get these waves coming through, and it's a cavitation of the region. We're going to see more and more of this as the entire North American craton's heating up from the bottom side. Super, super hot on the bottom, and the heat is going from hot to cold. It's going to continue to get worse and worse and worse. Vents are opening up. Nobody wants part of this weather pattern. I was checking it out. This was from 6 hours ago, and you might hear the thunder and lightning coming here. This is going to end on Saturday, and then we're in the 95. It's going to be 100 degrees right here next week. Getting ready to get super, super hot. The people that are trying to start gardens, there are farmers that have large fields, that some of them north of our position in Nebraska, they're still waiting on rain. Some of us are getting more rain than we need, but whenever these 100-degree temps and this is going to be a terrible heat dome that sits over us, then they're going to lose their crops. This is going to be biblical, what's about to happen inside the United States. Forgotten Atlantic volcano blows again. Tsunami fears explode worldwide. Forgotten Atlantic. This happened on the other side. It's not just Pacific Ocean. Seismic activity. Oh, this was from, Redwood Valley. Yeah, this is that 5.6 that struck right here. The one that pretty major quake, and it looks like it was followed up by 5.2. This could be precursor to something else that's coming. Giant crack is tearing Iceland apart, and it's getting worse. That push from the southern hemisphere plant to the north, I'm showing you evidence of it right here. So you can just guess on what's going to come next. You're going to see more and more about Iceland, and you're going to hear more and more about Greenland, the melting from the underside of Greenland, just like what's happening in Antarctica. All signs that this is going to begin growing exponentially, this heat that's building up inside the Earth. Antarctica, 36 degrees above normal. This is supposed to be covered by ice, 36 degrees. See, that's what I'm saying. It's coming from underneath. I mean, you can have a super cold air mass in a neighboring region, and this is happening next door. El Nino pattern has one consequence nobody's prepared for. I sent my comments. I said, there's more to this than you guys realize. Way more. This is the Kilauea update. So we passed beyond the black star, and now we're moving away. The eruption of Summit Kilauea is paused. Yeah. So in the report, it gives you the numbers, and it shows that the crater quakes have stopped. The deeper quakes, though you look at the numerology, if you follow along, you'll see the numerology is pointing to the subsiding activity. Now they're moving away. It's pools underneath the Pacific plate are going to restart the activity. Don't worry. It's not because we're moving toward the black star. It's because those pools are already on the way. This is going to be a moment. It's a pause. It's going to be momentary. Then it's going to start up again. I'm expecting the activity. It's gurgling and then spewing, and then gurgling and spewing. Thing is that the fountaining is going to get lower and lower each time until we get to outside roll position. Then it's going to turn around, and the fountaining is going to get higher and higher again as the Earth core temperature increases. Generational crisis. Nearly 1/3 of U.S. adults under the age of 35 are still living with their parents. The numbers are worse than that. It's closer to 50%, and this number is closer to 40 years old. And I feel badly for the young. Think about being 19 years old, putting the first down payment on our house, and our payments were $135, and they went up to $155 with the PITI. Power bill's $20 back in the day. We will not let the Communist Party define who we are. Yeah, this lady is doing the talking here. This lady, you're not going to let them define us. The Chinese are extremely patient. People think that they're going to attack Taiwan. They're not going to attack Taiwan. They have people there. The inside, China's working inside of Taiwan. They have been. They're working inside of every nation on earth. But they're going to take Taiwan. If it takes them 100 years, they're going to take Taiwan. They're patient. Extremely patient. It's like playing chess. You can play chess with the Chinese. They will sit there for 100 years before they make a move. You're going to have a lot of difficulty beating them. Trump previews closed door Senate lunch. Rick Scott's, they're wondering what they're going to talk about. Well, the Republicans are going to talk about how they're going to keep the Senate, and it's impossible, and who's going to be voting for impeachment. As things keep going, we're going to have another orbit cycle. We're going to have midterms. And for beginning of January, the House and Senate is going to belong to the Dems, and Jeffries and whoever is Schumer, whoever. I can't imagine Schumer's going to be heading up the House, the Senate, but we'll see. Whoever it is, they're going to be licking their chops. Even though it's a uniparty thing, it's to keep the distraction thing going, like when Pelosi was running the show. I wonder if they're going to put Pelosi back. I'm not keeping up with that stuff enough to know. But it's going to be a gigantic dog and pony show. Distraction, distraction. They're going to keep spending money. And I'm wondering now if the attachments from the Senate and the House for the NDAA, I'm just wondering if that's going to go through, because it looks like there's a lot of pushback against it. Israel and the United States and Trump are on the ropes. Remember when Trump was getting tired of winning? And I told you, he's going to be on his heels. He's on his heels now. And he's going to be flat on his back. It's not going to take that much longer. This oil shock that's it. Trump's going to be flat on his back, taking punches. Oh, what is this one? Report warns harmful rise in social ideology in medicine. So the do not harm deal, one of the problems that I had in getting my methods in was the do no harm deal with doctors. So I'm saying create a controlled, pressurized environment inside of people that go, oh, we can't do that. That might harm the patient. I'm not kidding you. That was, and then my argument is, well, what in the world? You got a scalpel. I can get all my kidney stones out using pressure without an incision. You want to cut me open, and you're talking about do no harm. It made me angry. I had companies telling me this was beyond their core competency. Well, we can't really do that. No, it's because you're paid by the medical lobby to keep things the way they are. At, running a medical corporation and dealing with all that stuff, I cannot do it. I cannot do it today. I was young then. Absolutely impossible. My heart would explode. Heinous. White House condemns judge's order mandating woke ideology at national parks. Pardon me, my mind kind of flashed. It's already worn and torn from doing this since 6 o'clock this morning, but I kind of flashed back to Press Medical Corporation days there for a second. I was there for a minute. Mandating woke ideology at national parks. Heinous. Yeah. It's a uniparty, and backroom dealing is going on. And basically, Trump gets hit what he wants done by playing the game with everybody. Some of these judges, these district judges, federal judges, they get their way because that's what Trump wanted in the first place. It's just a show. He's doing it for show. He says I'm gonna stand up and we're gonna do this and this and this, but whenever the little federal judge comes along, don't worry. He tells it to the lobbyists. Don't worry. None of it's gonna go through, and it doesn't. Woke. The um the Bud Light thing and all that, I'm not ever getting over it. If I ever go back to drinking beer, I will not have a Bud Light. I'm not getting over it. Where are the neocons exposing the left's anti? I'm just shaking my head here. The neocons are the freaking problem. They're the ones that are taking us to World War III. Exposing the left's anti-Israel. No, I used to like Hanson a lot, especially since he got sick and came back. Then he is just so bought and paid for. It's just unbelievable. If you spend time with the Colonels and Mario and Nima, these different Colonel Karen and the rest, if you spend some time and listen to them, then it's difficult to listen to Fox News. It's difficult to listen to these guys anymore because it's just blatant how they're serving the lobbies, and they know which side their bread's buttered on and all that. Because this is propaganda from top to bottom, every syllable. The left's anti-Israel narrative. Take Israel and get them out of Lebanon. Retreat to your borders. Remember, I keep saying that. Retreat to your borders, and you will not hear from Hezbollah again. Get away from Iran. Get out of the Middle East, United States. Let them have their little NATO pact. Get together. I see them like a herd, like a flock, like chickens. Who's going to be the rooster? If you know anything about chickens, you know the rooster calls the shots. You can manipulate the whole bunch of chickens, dozens of tens, if you can just manipulate that one rooster. And who's going to be the rooster in the Middle East? It's going to be Iran, working with Pakistan and BRICS. That's it. All those countries need to join BRICS. The country, I have my hand on my forehead here, palm facing and everything, United Arab Emirates. They are so slow. They 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 really they're not going to exist anymore if they keep playing the game that they're playing, if you ask me. Where are the neocons? Uh, they're the Tom Cottons. They're servicing Israel. They're another. I'm not showing it here, but I've been checking out the Young Turks. I know they're lefties, but it's amazing that Anna lady. I have to agree. I agree with a lot of what she's saying. I hate to say it. I'm kind of embarrassed to say it. Well, I can see where they're coming from. They kind of harp on, they play the victim card a lot, but I have to agree. I'm agreeing with a lot of what they're saying. The more that I listen to the colonels and, the more that what they're saying is making sense. I'm not saying I ever would vote for a Democrat or anything like that. But the neocon righties, I'm not the warmongering neocons. I'm not there either. So the Tucker Carlsons, right? The Marjorie Taylor Greens, I'm with them. Was a far, far, far righty right of Trump, and now disillusioned by what's happening. Savannah Guthrie, I'm rolling my eyes and going, this lady was likely dead. Did you ever watch these type of shows? What's the best one? Body cams, um, Lieutenant Joe Kinda, all those. This situation right here, these people are usually dead within hours, days especially. When you get beyond 72 hours, 48 hours, generally they're not around no more. When you're talking about somebody of this age, I don't know why we're even hearing about this anymore. I mean, God bless the lady. I hope they find her and everything. World War III is trying to start. The 2032 event will be insane. 2032, tech grid could collapse faster than anybody realized. It's not going to collapse because of what comes off the sun, guys. It's going to collapse because of the NSA and their contractors and China and Russia and BRICS. The haves against us, the have-nots. Yellowstone splitting open. She sees it. She's all excited about it too. She's bouncing up and down. Don't see her that animated as she is in that report. Remembering my childhood during the first intifada. So this is another example. Lefties, I know. I'm looking into the eyes of the people of Lebanon, and my heart is bleeding for them. I can't help it. And then in Ukraine, I'm seeing people that are losing their children. I'm looking into the eyes of the mothers and of the wives, and these guys that are being dragged off the street and sent to the front line, and they're killed. They're dead because they're not even trained. They're put in a uniform and they're pushed up to the front. They're used as decoys to bring in the other guys, the people with the drones, so they can do their thing. It's horrible. And the little children, they're being eaten by rats and stuff like that. I'm like, oh my God, Lord God, how much longer are you going to let this continue? I'm not kidding you. It's hurting my heart to watch what's happening, but I can't look away. And God help me if I stand before his throne and I'm judged for looking away from what's happening over there to those people. And your money and my money is paying for it. It's not right. It's absolutely not right. And then the spin that's happening, making Hezbollah the bad guy whenever they're like Confederate. I'm Confederate. I mean, I'm from the South and all that. I'm not saying that. It's the revolutionaries that fought under George Washington against the British. That's what it is. Imperialism. And they're coming and they're trying to take our homes, take our wives, take our children, take our goats and our sheep and all that. Israel's doing that to Lebanon right now. They already destroyed Gaza. They think this greater Israel project, they're going to fulfill prophecy, and it's not done by force. I'm getting angry about it. Elijah's going to do it, and everybody's going to be happy about it because he's here for everybody. When Elijah comes, it's not like he's going to conquer the world and use Israel as a giant army. That's not how it is. Everybody's going to be happy. Esau is going to be happy to get out of the way because they're going to be a bigger kingdom than Israel. Ishmael, Persians, they're all going to be happy. Everybody's going to be happy. They're all going to have their place. The world's going to be changed. You can't do it but through the peril of a weapon. You can't do it that way. That's the devil's work. Russia struggles. See, the devil knows he's about to be chained, and this is his last gasp. And I hate it that he's using your tax money and my tax money to do it. It's terrible. So the Young Turks, and maybe I'm going to put them in the lineup and play a little bit of them, a little bit. Russia struggles to defend. Yeah, it gets endless attack. Putin's got to do something. I feel bad for the Russian people too. Iran deal divides the U.S., triggers panic. Yeah, I made an incorrect error of that MOU was nothing. I mean, it's a nothing deal. There's no trust. So what I said was it was a fact, but it's being used by the Iranians in a smart way, and it's a document admitting defeat by Trump. You have to admit, for him to sign that, the way he did it, where he signed it, and everything, is admitting defeat. That's what he did. Some of the Congress are mad about it because they're in the pocket of Israel, the lobby. So I highly recommend going here. All these places, the Enforcer, I can't sit through a 4-hour video, but I listen to some of it in the evenings before I've had just too much war and such. And he does, the Enforcer, he does the best reports, most comprehensive maps, and show you where the front line is. He shows you everything. And Glenn gets into he does the deep dive on stuff. He's spending a lot of time in Russia, talking about China and Russia, and BRICS and such. Mario is focusing way more time on, well, he lives right there, so he's in the Middle East. This one right here is where Scott Ritter got defamed a little bit. He was hacking on Scott a little bit. But really, really good commentary. I highly recommend him. That's U.S. Navy Malcolm Nance. Extremely, extremely knowledgeable on the region and on tactics, on drones and all that. Give you the best information. Karen has the soft touch. And Larry and Pepe, they have that new site. They have a new channel and all that. They have access to the Pakistan delegation. They have access. They need to be careful. Sometimes they slip up and give a little bit too much information, and that could get the Pakistani delegation attacked. Because if from Israel, if Israel can't figure out which one it is, and their um, the intel is getting out, and they're getting hurt by it, they'll kill them all. Israel or the United States will, not the Iranians. Larry Johnson deal, yeah. Oh, this is the one I was listening to right here. So I'm anticipating that you are spending time. So I don't agree with everything Tucker Carlson says, but I'm closer to Tucker Carlson than I am the Republican right or the Democratic left, for sure. And Nima, very, very good. Scott Ritter, very, very good interview. I recommend him anytime that you can hear him. He's pretty much saying the same thing right now. Russia is going to be forced to attack because they're taking too much of a hit from NATO nations using Ukraine as a hammer to beat them over the head. One of the reasons that Putin is able to keep his generals at bay because his generals want to go attack and start killing people. Europeans, Poland, you name it, Britain, they want to kill people that are responsible. Bomb the warehouses where the drones are. That's what they want. But Putin is a strategist. He's smart. And what he sees is Europe is destroying itself. You don't get any repercussions. You don't get any terror attacks from the people of Europe rebelling against you if Europe destroys itself. So you have to do the analysis and see it to see how much benefit you get from expending the missiles. And so far, the United States and Europe, along with Japan, are destroying themselves fast enough. We don't have to do anything. That's that's what Putin is having to sell his people every day. He's going to continue to do it for as long as possible because just take a look around. Look what's happening with the oil crisis. This oil shock is going to shock the United States and EU, and the collapse is going to happen. And Putin and Xi and the BRICS, they're just going to watch it happen. And it's going to be funny to them when it happens. And then Putin is going to be vindicated to his generals, and then they'll be able to go forward with BRICS countries. That's what China needs to do is build better, stronger ties with BRICS countries and forget about the United States, forget about EU, and do it quick because their people need to make stuff to export. And I need to get through this. It's over 2 hours now. You guys know the judge digging up graves. Shared that with you yesterday. This is getting my feet back on the ground after too much war. Generally, see what's happened. People see something at the grocery stores. I haven't refreshed these pages. 8 hours ago, people's lives are falling apart in a single day. It's unreal. People are losing it, and they're going to be taking it out on those in their environment. A lot of people take it out against the people they love. A lot of people do. You've seen it how many times? Guy loses his job. He's going to lose his house. He can't see his children growing up in this. He comes home and wipes out his whole family and then himself. That happens all the time. It's becoming more and more common. Knives. Lots and lots of knives. Guns, knives, survival situation. Those you can't use, don't want to use, you hold for barter. Scott Ritter's shocking report from inside Russia. See, remember I was saying Scott Ritter, he's out of action, but he was in Russia. Now he's coming back and he's reporting. Make sure you, from somewhere, you hear Scott Ritter, the message that he has out there right now. Iran doesn't even make sense. Be careful about the propaganda because Iran makes perfect sense to me. With big tech, Iran is doing the same thing Putin's doing. Watching EU and the United States destroy themselves. If they're going to destroy themselves, don't interrupt them. With big tech comes loss of knowledge and truth. Are you ready? Depends on how you use it. That pendulum is swinging for a lot of people. Okay. Every Prime Day prepping deal. This doesn't happen very often. This guy right here, Goshen Prepping, he can get you 50% off a lot of stuff. Survival. If you have the resources, you might want to check him out. I've done it before. I'm not going to be doing it now. My resources have to go to something else. But if you have the resources, you just might want to check them out. Goshen Prepping. Because you can spend 50% on things that you don't even realize you need yet. So when I have more time and such, then I go through his list and I look and I say, hey, check this out. I don't have time. One big Ponzi scheme. You can always check it. Or you can always check in, but you can't check out until Jeremiah Babe's talking. I listened to some of that. Game Prepper. So after watching, I watched a lot of this video. After calling I'm kind of embarrassed to call myself a prepper after seeing this. Because Nate is a real prepper. He has got real resources. He can really do it right. So pay attention to him. Don't pay so much attention to me. I've done some things. This guy right here is prepper's prepper right here. Prepper, survivalist. He's just watching that. I have a lot of respect for him already. That's why he's in the lineup. He has some immunity to the diluting influence. that controls a lot of people. His survival strategy and the things that he has going, orchards and big old movable chicken houses, and I'm like, oh my goodness, check this guy out. He is really something. Master Wong, stop blocking the wrong way. On the 45 of you that are subscribed to the Tarot Black Star YouTube channel, then these people right here, I subscribe to them and like the video so they'll show up. Then checked out this video here, the Georgia attack, foreign operatives inside the United States. I've been warning you about this. Foreign operatives are here. So, and if you haven't seen it, two guys pull up, to this guy on a motorcycle, and they tell him, I guess they were parked at a red light. It seems like yesterday that I saw this. I watched it this morning. They told him there was something wrong with his vehicle. He gets out of the vehicle. They take him down, and they know who he is. They work him over. Somebody paid them to do that to him. You have to be watchful, situational awareness. If somebody tries that with you, they say, oh, look at this. You thank them very much, and you keep driving. You do not exit your vehicle under any circumstances. You keep going. And if they're following you, you pass your house. Chances are, with this guy, it wouldn't have worked because they already had his address. They already know everything about him because somebody paid them to do that to him. But if you're being followed home from Wally World, situational awareness can save you, because more and more people are going to be desperate. They'll follow you home, and you get out of your vehicle, and they're waiting for you to take all your food. They don't want to do it at the Walmart because cameras, and they're getting more sophisticated. As these terror cells are activated, truly activated, this type of strategic thing is going to be happening to the power plants, to the water plants, to armories, National Guard armories, sheriff stations. It's going to be happening. They don't want to wake everybody up about exactly what's happening. So it's going to expect that it's going to begin in a way that we don't even expect. You can't expect the unexpected, right? Or it wouldn't be the unexpected. But situations just like that could be a foretelling that it's happening in other places, and that eventually it happens to somebody you know, and then it's happening to us. At some point, I'm telling you, you're not going to want to leave the house for anything, because of all the stories and the things that are happening at your grocery store. People are shooting it out in the parking lot and things like that. You're going to be feeling like you're risking your life just to go get groceries. Anti-loot traps. Yep, anti-looter traps I showed you yesterday. And that's it. And I closed my homepage. Okay, back to where we started. Appreciate you guys' support very, very much. Get more information right at tarot03.com. That's all I can think to share with you guys. 6 o'clock p.m. on the dot. And watch tarot.substack.com. When I see something I need to share with you, then I'll grab something, cross-post it. Michael Snyder likely. Could be something else. And I'll get you a link to it. Otherwise, you're following the Colonels. You're following Mario, Nima, keeping up with the World War III situation, what's going on with that. And that's it. This is the link I was telling you about. Click right here, and my code will follow you all the way through. It's my website without the dot. Your coupon code, $50 off each device. Get yourself protected. If you have resources in your house and your car is not protected, your truck, get it protected. $50 off each device. Click right here. If you click on this link, then it's to your food, my Patriot Supply. The other links down below for survival. And that's it. Of course, get your Nano Silver right here. You don't need a PayPal account. You don't need a Stripe account to use these links. Sign as a guest, and you'll get your notification email. Most are processed between 6 and 8 in the morning. Most people order overnight, and they get your notification 6 to 8 every morning with all the attachments. And that's it. Appreciate your support again. Get more information at tarot03.com. I'll see you on the next Black Star Update report.